There are moments in life when just 1 second is enough to change everything forever. For Rowan Hale, that moment came on a warm Thursday morning in San Diego when, as he was wiping grease from his calloused brown hands, he heard the engine of a luxury car purr outside his old garage. The sound was smooth, expensive, and completely out of place in the working-class neighborhood he had been tied to his entire life. For Aria Vale, the 19-year-old black girl who had lost 11 years of her youth to a wheelchair, the moment that changed everything arrived quietly. It was the strange sensation of her foot touching the ground without pain for the first time since the fateful accident when she was only 8 years old. No applause, no fireworks, just a trembling breath and something she had once believed would never happen. But before the miracle appeared, there had been tragedy. There had been despair. There had been countless sleepless nights when one wonders whether the kindness of an ordinary person could possibly stand against a cold, unyielding system. This is the story of a single black father living on the margins of society, of a black female billionaire carrying the guilt of a mother, and of a brave young black girl who had grown accustomed to being told to accept her fate. This is the story of how a poor mechanic accomplished something that money, fame, and luxurious clinics could never buy. Rowan was not always a single father living in an old garage. When he was younger, he dreamed of becoming an aerospace engineer. He and his brother Mateo used to sit on the roof of their house in southeast San Diego, watching airplanes take off from the international airport, sketching naive designs of jet engines and airplane wings. But when his wife Elena passed away after giving birth to Lila, every plan fell apart. He dropped out in his second year of college and returned to work at the small garage, once his father's workshop. Every afternoon while Lila napped, Rowan opened old books on mechanics, not because he hoped to return to school, but because he believed that knowledge, even self-taught, even without a degree, could still change someone's life. 12 years earlier, his younger brother Mateo, 22 years old, brilliant and full of promise, was in his final year of aerospace engineering at UC San Diego. One weekend afternoon, he went scuba diving with friends at La Jolla Cove. The accident happened so fast, a violent collision with submerged rocks, and Mateo's spine was severely damaged. The doctor's voice was cold, devoid of emotion. "Your brother will never walk again. T6 spinal cord injury, paralysis from the chest down." At that time, Rowan was only 26. He had just lost his wife, was alone carrying his newborn daughter, working 3 shifts a day. When the doctors proposed an experimental surgery that could give Mateo a chance to walk again, the cost was $350,000. Rowan knocked on every door he could find. He borrowed, he begged, he bowed his head. But it was not enough. Mateo was the first to say stop. He looked at his older brother and smiled, even though the pain was unmistakable in his dark eyes. "You still have Lila to take care of. I will be fine, brother." 5 years later, Mateo passed away due to pulmonary complications. In the stark, white hospital room, he gripped his brother's hand tightly, his breath broken and shallow. "Promise me, if you ever get the chance, help people like me. Do not let them lose hope the way I once did." From that day on, every night after Lila had fallen asleep, Rowan returned to the garage, not to fix cars, but to learn. Old books on biomechanics, YouTube videos on orthopedic engineering, medical device schematics. He had no medical degree, but he had the hands of a gifted mechanic and a promise to a brother who was gone. Not far away, also along the edge of the Pacific Ocean, there lived another mother, one whose world stood in complete contrast to Rowan's. Serena Vale was the CEO of BioNova Technologies, California's leading biotechnology corporation. The elegant black woman was the embodiment of success, intellect, and power. But all that prestige could not erase one fateful night 11 years earlier. It was an August evening at Pacific Beach. Aria, then only 8 years old, her tight curls pulled back in colorful beads, was learning to surf. Serena sat on the sand, phone in hand, handling an urgent email related to a deal worth $200 million. "Mom, look at me." Arya's excited voice rang out from the ocean. Serena waved back but did not lift her head. "I see you, sweetheart. Be careful." But she did not truly see. That evening, the waves were stronger than usual. A sudden, powerful wave crashed in. Arya lost her balance and fell into the water. The surfboard slammed violently into her head. By the time lifeguards pulled Arya onto the shore, she was unconscious, blood streaming from the wound. Traumatic brain injury, cervical spinal cord damage, and emergency surgery lasting 14 hours. Arya survived, but from the chest down, there was no sensation. Serena never forgot the moment she sat beside the hospital bed, watching her daughter wake up. Arya tried to move her legs. Nothing happened. Fear filled the child's brown eyes as they searched for her mother. "Mom, why can't I feel my legs?" And there was a question Arya did not say out loud, but Serena read it clearly in her daughter's eyes. "Where were you when I got hurt?" From that day on, Serena did the only thing she knew how to do: use money to fight fate. Millions of dollars were spent. The world's top specialists were brought in. 11 years passed, 11 surgeries, dozens of treatment programs, but Arya still could not walk. Her current brace, manufactured by OrthoCare Solutions, cost $180,000. It was designed by a team of engineers from MIT, made from the lightest titanium alloy, integrated with an AI sensor system. On paper, it was a technological miracle. But in reality, every step Arya took still hurt. That Thursday morning, Rowan was wiping the grease from his hands after finishing repairs on an old Cessna engine. Lila, 7 years old with her hair in 2 perfect puffs, sat cross-legged on the garage floor, completely absorbed in her drawing. "Dad," she looked up, holding a small mechanical puppet Rowan had built for her. "Why doesn't this joint rotate smoothly?" Rowan knelt beside her and smiled. "Because I have not lubricated it enough, sweetheart. Machines are just like people. When a joint gets dry, movement becomes painful." At that exact moment, an unfamiliar sound filled the air, a deep, smooth, luxurious engine sound. Rowan stepped outside and froze. In front of him was a white Rolls-Royce Cullinan, gleaming and polished. A young black woman stepped out slowly, carefully, supported by metal braces tightly encasing her legs. Her natural hair fell in beautiful locks over her shoulders, her features delicate, but her eyes carried exhaustion. Beside her stood a middle-aged black woman in an immaculate white suit, a straight posture, and the sharp gaze of someone accustomed to running a multi-billion-dollar empire. "Sorry to bother you," Serena said, her voice polite but distant. "My car overheated. Could you take a look?" Rowan nodded and opened the hood, but even as he tried to focus on the Rolls-Royce, his eyes kept drifting toward the young woman. Arya was attempting to sit on an old wooden bench. The rigid braces made even the smallest movement difficult. Rowan noticed immediately. It was a mechanic's instinct, trained to spot mechanical misalignment in a split second. Finally, he could no longer stay silent. He walked over and knelt down at Arya's eye level. "Excuse me, I do not mean any disrespect, but your brace, could it be too tight?" Arya blinked, stunned. "How did you know?" "I am not a doctor, but I am a mechanic. I can tell when something does not fit right, and this brace, it does not allow you to move naturally." Serena immediately stood up, her eyes sharp with alarm. "What are you saying?" "That is a top-of-the-line medical device made by OrthoCare, the world's leading company." Rowan did not argue. "May I take a closer look? Just look. I promise I will not touch anything without permission." Arya looked at her mother, then nodded. Rowan knelt down and his hands traced along the metal joints, checking angles, testing flexibility. And he saw the problem. This knee joint is fixed at a 15-degree angle, but when a person walks naturally, The knee needs a range from 0 to 70 degrees. Because the joint is locked, every step you take, your knee cannot bend. Your hip is forced to rotate about 20 degrees to compensate. He looked up at Arya. That is why you have chronic lower back pain, right? Arya's mouth fell open. How do you know my back hurts? You are leaning 7 degrees to the right. Your spine is adjusting to reduce pressure. How long has this been happening? 5 years, Arya whispered, tears spilling over. The doctor said it was a normal side effect. I thought I had to endure it. Serena stood frozen. She had paid $180,000. She had trusted the finest minds from MIT. And now a mechanic in an old garage had pointed out in just 3 minutes what dozens of specialists had never mentioned. So you are saying it was designed wrong? Rowan let out a quiet sigh. Not exactly wrong. They designed it for technology, for sensors, for appearance, but they forgot the most basic thing. He looked at Arya. They forgot how the human body actually moves. Arya gathered all her courage. Can you fix it? Rowan looked at her. In her eyes, he saw Matteo. He saw the promise he had made long ago. I do not know, but I can try. That night, inside the $15 million oceanfront mansion in La Jolla, Serena could not sleep. She stood silently before the wide-open window, gazing out at the Pacific Ocean, the ocean that had taken everything from her. For 11 years, Serena had tried to buy forgiveness with money, the best doctors, the most expensive devices, the most advanced operating rooms, but all of it had failed. A soft knock sounded at the door. Arya rolled into the room in her wheelchair. You are not asleep yet, Mom? I was thinking about the mechanic today. You do not trust him, do you? I am afraid. If he is wrong, I will still be the same as I am now, Arya interrupted, her voice strangely calm. Mom, I have lived like this for 11 years. I have had 11 surgeries. I have tried everything money can buy. And I still hurt. I still cannot walk. Every time you look at me, I see guilt in your eyes. You keep trying to buy me a miracle. But miracles are not something you can buy, Mom. Serena knelt down and pulled her daughter into her arms. I am sorry. I am sorry for not looking up. Mom, stop apologizing. Let me try this time, not because of money, not because of famous doctors, just because there is someone who truly wants to help me. The next morning, Serena called Rowan. Mr. Hale, I want you to try. But if there is any sign of danger, even the smallest, I will stop immediately. I understand. And I do not want to hurt her either. I promise I will be absolutely careful. I will be there every step, every decision. I just need you to trust me one chance. And for the first time in 11 years, Serena Vale, a woman accustomed to controlling everything, chose to let go of control. She chose to place her trust in a stranger, not because of credentials, not because of reputation, but because in that man's eyes, she saw something she had lost a long time ago. From that moment on, Rowan began to dismantle the brace, carefully wiping away every speck of dust. The first night passed without him noticing. When faint morning light crept into the garage, Rowan was still sitting there, technical pen in his hand. The next day, the first prototype was born. Rowan cut the weight by nearly half, increased the knee's range of motion, and added special padding at the contact points. When Arya returned with Serena, her eyes were tense. Are you ready? Rowan asked quietly. Arya nodded. I am ready. The new brace was fitted. Arya stood up. In the first few seconds, she smiled. It really was lighter. But on the third step, a scream of pain tore through the garage. Arya collapsed. Blood streamed from her ankle where the metal joint had cut into her skin. Serena screamed and rushed forward. That is enough, Mr. Hale! Enough! I was wrong to trust you! Rowan stood frozen, his hands trembling, covered in blood. In his mind, the image of Mateo on the hospital bed years ago came flooding back. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Serena helped Arya into the car without another word, but just before the door closed, Arya turned back and looked at Rowan through her tears. Do not give up. That night, the garage sank into darkness. The broken brace lay motionless on the table. Rowan sat alone, his phone in his hand, about to call Serena to give up. What are you doing, Dad? Lila's voice came from the doorway. I hurt someone, sweetheart. I thought I could help, but I only caused them more pain. Lila was silent for a long time, then asked, Did Uncle Mateo ever tell you to give up? Rowan felt as if he stopped breathing. I remember Uncle saying you should never give up on people who need help, right, Dad? Rowan pulled his daughter into his arms and broke down. Then do not give up. Sister Arya still believes in you. At that moment, the phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. Mr. Hale, this is Arya. I am sorry about my mom today. I am okay. Please do not give up on me. I believe in you. Rowan stared at the screen, tears falling. He stood up, switched the lights back on, and reopened the design plans. The second prototype was created. Rowan changed the material, using aircraft-grade aluminum alloy. He wrapped all contact points in medical-grade silicone. He added shock-absorbing springs to the knee joint. The next morning, he called Serena. Mrs. Vale, I am asking for one more chance. When they arrived, Serena was colder, but Arya smiled at Rowan, a smile so brave it made his heart ache. This time, Rowan installed the brace more slowly, checking every detail. Arya stood up. The first step, fine. The second step, fine. The third step, a scream erupted. The hip joint shifted, pressing hard into the pelvis. Arya collapsed. No, Serena screamed. I will not allow this anymore. I will sue you. You are hurting my daughter. But as Serena prepared to take Arya away, the girl turned back, grabbed Rowan's hand, and whispered through tears, Promise me you will not give up. Rowan could not speak. He only nodded. That night, Rowan sat on the garage floor, his back against the icy wall. Mateo, I cannot do it. I am sorry. Then, the memory returned. Mateo holding his hand, his voice weak. Do not apologize. Just promise. Rowan jumped to his feet, and then he saw it. The problem was not the joint. It was not the weight. It was the center of balance. Everything had placed the center of balance wrong. They placed it at the knee. But when a human being walks, the true center of balance must be at the hip. This time, he did not fix it. He redesigned everything from scratch. In the days that followed, Rowan disappeared from the world. The garage closed. Lila brought food to her father and saw that he slept only 2 or 3 hours a night. Rowan spent all $3,000 of his savings, the money he had set aside for Lila's private school tuition, to buy the best materials. He tested the brace on his own legs, strapped it on, walked, fell, got up, adjusted it, tried again. On the 7th day, Rowan finished. The new brace looked nothing like anything before it. 60% lighter, smooth joint movement. The center of balance fully shifted to the hips, distributing pressure evenly throughout the body. Mateo, I have finished it. He closed his eyes. I hope this time I will not fail again. Rowan stared at his phone for 20 long minutes before finally finding the courage to press call. Mrs. Vale, I have finished it. I know you no longer trust me, but I am asking for one last chance, just this once. If I fail, I will not trouble you again. I promise. On the other end of the line, there was a silence so long it was frightening. Do you know, Mr. Hale, my lawyer is preparing a lawsuit against you? Twice my daughter was injured because of you. I know, and I am sorry. But I also know something else. Arya still believes in me. I receive messages from her every day. She asks me if I have given up. Serena let out a quiet laugh, a laugh devoid of joy. That is why I have gone crazy. My 19-year-old daughter is placing her entire life in the hands of a stranger, and I, a mother, am considering letting that happen. You are a good mother. You are just trying to protect your child." "No." Serena's voice softened, heavy with pain. "A good mother would not have been looking down at her phone 11 years ago. A good mother would have seen her daughter when she called out." Rowan heard Serena crying on the other end of the line. "Mr. Hale, for 11 years, I have tried to buy forgiveness with money. But Arya told me she does not need me to buy a miracle. She just needs me to believe. Then believe in your daughter. And believe in hope." The next morning, Serena and Arya appeared in front of Rowan's garage. But this time, they were not alone. With them was Dr. Elias Merrick, California's leading orthopedic specialist, the man who had followed Arya's case for the past 11 years. He came at Serena's request to assess the level of risk. "You are a mechanic, correct?" "Yes, sir." "And you think you can do what a team from MIT and I could not?" "I just want to help." Dr. Merrick scoffed. "I hope you know what you are doing. Because if Miss Vale is injured again, you will be facing a very serious lawsuit." The doctor bent down to examine the new brace. His brows furrowed. "This center of balance system does not follow medical standards, but it follows mechanical principles," Rowan replied calmly. "And humans move according to mechanics, not textbooks." "Mr. Hale," Dr. Merrick said, his tone serious, "if this works, do you understand what it means? It means you will change an entire field of medicine, and there will be many people who will not like that. I do not care whether they like it or not. I only care about her." Dr. Merrick looked at the man before him. No degrees, no prestige, but possessing something he himself had long lost in medicine. At that moment, Arya spoke. "Dr. Merrick, I want to try. Please." He let out a long, deep breath. "All right, but I will stand here. If there is any sign of danger, I will stop immediately." The air inside the garage seemed to freeze. The final attempt began. Rowan knelt in front of Arya, lifting the new brace. "Are you ready?" he asked. Arya nodded, her hand gripping her mother's tightly. Rowan began fitting the brace. This time, every movement was slow and absolutely gentle. He checked every strap, every joint, every contact point. "How does it feel?" "Light," Arya whispered. "Much lighter." Rowan stood up and extended his hand, then stopped halfway. "I will not hold you. I will only be here if you need me. But you have to stand on your own. Is that okay?" Arya took a deep breath, then slowly she stood up. The first second, her body did not shake. The second second, she was still standing. The third second, Arya suddenly realized something that froze her entire body. "Mom," her voice trembled. "I do not hurt." Serena raised her hand to cover her mouth, tears spilling out. Dr. Merrick narrowed his eyes, leaning in to observe every detail. "It is not that the pain is reduced," Arya whispered. "It is that there is no pain. For the first time in 11 years, I feel no pain." Rowan spoke very softly. "Let your body trust the support. The brace will carry the weight. You just need to move." Arya nodded, tears streaming freely down her face. She shifted her weight. The first step. Her foot touched the ground. No pain. Her knee bent. 20 degrees, 30, 40, smoothly, like a normal person's. No pain. Arya gasped, her voice breaking. "Mom, I am..." The second step. Her left foot. She shifted her weight. Her hip rotated naturally, no longer forced to twist. The brace distributed the pressure evenly across her body. No pain. The third step. The fourth step. Arya could no longer hold it in. She burst into sobs, yet she kept walking. "Mom! Mom, I am walking! I am really walking!" Serena collapsed onto the garage floor, her hands shaking violently as she covered her face, sobbing like a child. 11 years of guilt. 11 years of self-torment. And the miracle had finally arrived. Not from wealth, but from the hands of a lonely black father in an old garage. Arya kept walking, one step at a time, steadier. She turned to look at Rowan, her face soaked with tears, yet glowing with an indescribable radiance. "You did it." Rowan stood there, both hands gripping the edge of the workbench. He could not speak. Tears streamed down his face. In that moment, he saw Matteo, and this time, he had not failed. Dr. Merrick stood frozen, his mouth hung open. "Unbelievable," he whispered. "This center of balance system, it is absolutely genius." Arya actually ran, toward her mother. Serena sprang to her feet and opened her arms wide. And for the first time in 11 years, mother and daughter embraced while standing. Not in a wheelchair, not on a hospital bed, but standing. Two women holding each other tightly, crying like children. "Stop apologizing, Mom," Arya whispered. "You did not give up on me. You gave me this chance." They both turned to look at Rowan, a poor, single black man, his hands stained with oil, standing there crying without a sound. Serena walked over without hesitation and wrapped her arms tightly around him. "Thank you. Thank you for not giving up. I promised my brother that I would never give up on people who need help." At that moment, Lila ran into the garage, clapping her hands and cheering. "She can walk! Dad did it!" Arya knelt down, hugged Lila, and smiled through her tears. "You have an incredible dad." Outside the garage, neighbors had gathered. Some clapped, some cried. All of them were witnessing a miracle being born right before their eyes. 2 weeks later, Arya was walking steadily. The story began to spread, not through press releases, but through the stunned looks of other patients in hospitals when they saw Arya walking. But the glory did not last long. One morning, Rowan received an official letter from OrthoCare Solutions. Legal notice. "Dear Mr. Rowan Hale, we have been informed that you have unlawfully modified an OrthoCare Model X7 medical device without a medical or biomedical engineering license. This action violates FDA regulations governing Class II medical devices. We hereby demand that you immediately cease all activities related to medical devices. Failure to comply will result in civil and criminal legal action. Response deadline 7 days." Rowan sank into a chair. "Are they going to sue you, Dad?" Lila asked. "Maybe, sweetheart. Very likely." Pressure mounted on Dr. Merrick. He called Serena. "Mrs. Vale, I am truly happy for Arya, but I cannot publicly support Mr. Hale. If I do, I will lose my medical license." Serena organized a press conference. In front of dozens of reporters and cameras, Arya stepped out, walked out, without a wheelchair. The entire room froze. Serena stood at the microphone, her voice calm but razor-sharp. "For 11 years, I spent millions of dollars on the best experts in the world. They could not help my daughter. But a single father working in an old garage did what money could not buy. And now you want to sue him?" A reporter raised his hand. "But ma'am, are you not concerned that he has no medical credentials?" Serena looked straight into the camera. "Credentials did not make my daughter walk. Mr. Hale's heart and talent did." Arya stepped forward. "My name is Arya Vale. For 11 years, I lived in pain. Not because I lacked money, but because people with credentials forgot that I am a human being, not an engineering project. Rowan treated me like a human being, and he gave me my life back." The press conference video went viral. Millions of views in just a few days. Social media erupted. 1 week later, Serena returned to the garage. "Mr. Hale, I want to hire the best legal team to protect you. I will cover all the costs." Rowan shook his head. "No, Mrs. Vale. If I accept, everything will only get louder. The scandal will grow. Other patients will become afraid, and they will no longer dare to trust me. Then what are you going to do? Sit back and let them sue you? I will take responsibility for what I have done, but I will not apologize for helping Arya." "Why?" Why do you have to sacrifice like this? Because I promised my brother, and I will never betray that promise. That night, after most of the lights in the garage had been turned off, a stranger appeared. She introduced herself as Dr. Helena Dre, a professor of biomedical engineering at Stanford, one of the world's leading experts in orthopedic devices. A black woman with sharp, intelligent eyes and silver streaks in her natural hair. "I want to see the brace." Rowan handed it to her. Dr. Dre examined it for 30 minutes in complete silence, rotating each joint, observing every point of force distribution, making quick notes. Finally, she looked up. "You are self-taught?" "Yes, I am. No one taught you about dynamic center of balance distribution?" "No. I researched it myself." Dr. Dre removed her glasses and wiped tears from her eyes. "Genius. You are an untrained genius. I will testify for you. I will tell the FDA that this design surpasses everything currently on the market. But your colleagues will oppose you. You could—" "I do not care," Dr. Dre cut in. "In 30 years of this profession, I have never seen anyone understand the mechanics of the human body the way you do. If the medical system sues you, then it is suing progress." The following week, Dr. Helena Dre appeared at the FDA hearing. Before the expert panel, she presented her case clearly and methodically. Mr. Rowan Hale's design is not only safe, it is more advanced than existing orthopedic devices. I propose that the FDA grant a special license, allowing Mr. Hale to continue designing under my direct supervision. OrthoCare objected fiercely. But when the FDA directly examined the brace, measuring, testing, and analyzing, it was forced to acknowledge an undeniable truth. It was genuinely better. 2 months later, Rowan received a letter from the FDA. He opened it, his hands trembling. Special license. Mr. Rowan Hale is authorized to design orthopedic devices under the supervision of Dr. Helena Dre. Term 2 years, for the purpose of completing an official biomedical engineering certification. Rowan sat down. The letter slipped from his hand. Tears streamed down his face. "Matteo," he whispered, "I did it. I kept my promise." 1 year later, Hale Mobility Solutions, a rehabilitation engineering center, founded by Rowan with the quiet backing of Serena, officially opened its doors in San Diego. At the entrance stood a simple plaque, Hale Mobility Solutions, Making Hope Walk Again, dedicated to Matteo Hale, 1988 to 2013. On opening day, dozens of families lined up early in the morning, children in wheelchairs, adults wearing braces worn thin by years of use, elderly people carrying eyes that had nearly given up hope. Rowan greeted each person one by one. He did not stand on a raised platform. He knelt down at eye level with them and always began with the same question. "Can you show me how you are able to walk right now?" Aria was there too. She had become a physical therapy assistant and was in her final year studying rehabilitation science at UC San Diego. She welcomed families warmly, patiently sharing her story. Lila, now 8 years old, helped her father in the workshop. She drew naive designs, learned how to hold tools, and always asked the same question. "Dad, would Uncle Matteo be proud of you?" Rowan pulled his daughter into his arms, tears falling. "He would be very proud, sweetheart." Serena changed as well. She was no longer the cold CEO who lived only in boardrooms. She spent more time with Aria. Mother and daughter often walked along Pacific Beach, the place that had once taken everything, now the place where they found each other again. One afternoon, gentle waves lapped at their feet. "Mom," Aria said softly, "I do not resent you for that night. Not ever." Serena broke down in tears. "But if I had looked up, then I still could have been hurt." "Mom, the accident was caused by the ocean, not by you. Please stop punishing yourself." They embraced, tears blending with the sound of the waves. 6 months later, a 10-year-old boy named Ethan was brought to the center. paralyzed since birth, a poor family, no money for any kind of device. Rowan looked at the boy and smiled gently. "Hi, I will help you walk. For free. Do not worry." The boy burst into tears. His mother knelt down in gratitude. Rowan shook his head. "Do not thank me. Thank the one who taught me never to give up." He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Mateo, I miss you." 2 years later, Rowan completed his biomedical engineering certification. He became the first person in history to be licensed based on practical genius rather than the traditional academic path. Hale Mobility Solutions had helped more than 300 patients. 80% of them learned to walk again. The story spread across California, then the entire country. But Rowan never forgot his roots. The old garage was still there. He still repaired aircraft engines. He still lived simply because he did not do this for money or fame. He did it for a promise. A California sunset stretched across Pacific Beach. Rowan, Lila, Serena, and Aria sat on the sand, watching the sun sink toward the horizon. Aria stood up. She stepped into the waves for the first time in 13 years, letting the seawater touch her legs. She laughed, shouting like a child. "Mom, I can feel the water!" Serena ran toward her. Mother and daughter stood in the surf, holding each other tightly and crying. Rowan watched them and smiled. Lila looked up and asked, "Dad, are you happy?" "Very happy, sweetheart, because you kept your promise to Uncle Mateo." Rowan nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Yes, and I will keep it forever." In the California sunset sky, the final rays of sunlight shone down like a blessing. This is not just a story about a single black father, a black billionaire burdened by guilt, or a brave young black woman. This is a story about the simplest thing and the most profound. Kindness can change the world, one step at a time. Miracles do not come from money. Miracles come from hands that never give up.